Welcome to Sports Wars college football predictions and previews for teams across the country in 2021. And today we're going to be talking about the Texas Longhorns. Texas brings in the new coach, Steve Sarkisian, the former offensive coordinator for national title winner Alabama. Before that, the head coach at USC and Washington. And prior to that, the offensive coordinator at national title winning USC. So can Sark, as he's popularly known, return national glory to Austin in Texas? There's a lot of skepticism over his first-year coach, and likely because of the Washington performance, which was solid but never extraordinary, and the USC performance that led to his ultimate sort of untimely departure from the school. And so that has dampened expectations in parts of Vegas and in the fandom and in the press. But the reality is that Texas returns a lot of talent, does not face the harshest and most difficult schedule, and Sarkisian may have learned his lessons from some of his shortcomings at USC and Washington and show that his abilities to deliver victories on the field do not limit themselves to his offensive coordinator history. So let's take a look at the season. So Texas, by the way, brings in double-digit level talent, whether by recruiting ratings or NFL scout predictions or our own proprietary talent analysis at sportspicks.locals.com, where you can get free football picks and predictions all year long. So let's take a look at what Texas can do with that talent in its first year. And we would also note first-year coaches have been overperforming Vegas expectations now for multiple seasons, as they did last year. So first, Texas opens up as small favorites at home to Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, who put on a fun display last year. And as talented as the Ragin' Cajuns are within their conference, they don't have the capability to meaningfully compete with Texas. Texas should be substantial double-digit favorites in this game. So we see Texas as prevailing at home in Sark's first home game in Austin. Then Texas travels for an old rivalry, traveling into the SEC territory of a conference they are soon to join in a few years, and traveling to Arkansas and to play Arkansas at Arkansas. How will Arkansas prevail? Well, the reality is Arkansas is a tough team. They're an up-and-coming team, and they can absolutely give the first-year Texas team some surprises, particularly with such a young offensive talent, especially at quarterback if it's freshman Hudson Card. But this is a Texas team that still features more talent than Arkansas, and that talent edge should be enough for Sark to prevail in his first major road test. We see Texas as bringing home the win. Then Texas gets Rice and Texas Tech both at home. Those are favorable scheduling spots for both games, and we see Texas prevailing in both. Then Texas travels to TCU. TCU has given Texas more than fits over the last several seasons during their Big 12 reign. We think they will do so again here, but not enough to trip up Texas, and we have Texas still pulling off another win in their young season. Then Texas gets Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout, a game that will continue even when they travel into the SEC in a few seasons. We see Oklahoma simply having too much talent offensively and enough strength defensively for Texas to break the Oklahoma Sooner win streak, and we see Oklahoma prevailing in Sark's first game in the big rivalry. Then Texas gets Oklahoma State right off of that game. At home, Oklahoma State gives lots of people fits under the mullet, and we think the mullet will give Texas plenty of fits, but not before Texas pulls out the win and holds on for their victory before their bye week. Texas then gets back-to-back road games, first at Baylor, which is very much in rebuild mode under Dave Aranda, and we don't see Baylor having enough talent to meaningfully compete with Texas, even in Aranda's second season and Sark's only first season. We see Texas pulling home the win. Then Texas travels to Iowa State, where they're likely to be underdogs. But again, Texas has more talent than Iowa State, at least from a recruiting ranking perspective, and from most NFL scout perspectives, though Matt Campbell continues to overperform and overdevelop the talent that he has. And given that Iowa State is favorites, it could be understandable for most people to pick Iowa State in that game, but we're not. We're sticking with talent. We're sticking with Texas to pull the upset against Iowa State in Ames on the road. Then Texas returns for a game against Kansas. The Kansas win total this season is 1.5 or 1. The one win won't be Texas. An easy win for Texas at home, despite Kansas's excellent coaching hire. They got a long way to go in the talent rebuild there in Kansas. Then Texas travels to West Virginia, and the Mountaineers can be tough at home and tricky in a late season game. But we see again the talent edge so substantially favoring Texas that it's enough for Texas to pull off the win. And then last but not least, Texas gets Kansas State at home, and Kansas State, as Oklahoma knows, can beat anybody on any given day under the current coaching staff, much like the Bill Snyder coaching staff. But we don't see the talent differential as being something that Kansas State can so easily overcome, especially in Austin. So we have Texas prevailing, and prevailing to the point of an 11-win season to go over their win total in Vegas of 9 games. So sportspicks.locals.com, where you can get free football picks and predictions all year long, recommends the over for the Texas win total. And remember, if you like this content, like, share, and subscribe here at Sports Wars, where you'll be getting sports insight all year long. Thanks, everybody.